The Mets are once again the worst team in baseball, and I think lucky for all of us, we have a day off to not watch this team play. Welcome in another edition of the Believe in Mets pod. That's Jack McKessie. I'm Chris Schubert, here to talk all things New York Mets. Feels like another therapy session for us all after the Mets drop a series to the Arizona Diamondbacks over the weekend. Jack, how are you, my friend?
I'm so sad, man. We were riding off of much higher vibes after our last episode. Back-to-back series wins to begin the month of May. And this was just everything came crashing back down, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know, the place that I'll start, and trust me, we'll get to the offense here in just a second because there's a lot to say. You win on Friday, and you set yourself up for two chances over the weekend to make it 3 straight series wins. And you just have to win one game over the weekend to have a 6-3 road trip, to win 3 series in a row, to actually, despite all the hemming and hawing that we're about to do in regards to the offense and just the team in general, if they win one of the 2 games over the weekend, they are making significant gains and significant progress to digging themselves out of the hole that the start of the year and the 12-game losing streak dug for them. But I think what occurred over the last 2 days is just very symbolic of why this team can't get ahead, because they can't win either of the 2 games over the weekend. And it all goes back to the same thing. They just can't hit. It doesn't matter who they play. It doesn't matter who's on the mound. It doesn't matter who's in the lineup. The New York Mets as a team right now can't hit. And that's why they sit here with the worst record in baseball as they enter an off day and they come back home to start a homestand.
So frustrating to watch, Chris, because especially this series and our last episode talking about the Angels and who's the last team they played? I already forget. My God, whatever, brain fart. The last 2 series, when we were recapping them, I said
The Rockies.
Thank you.
Yes.
I said the pitching is clearly a plus for this version of the Mets. Like, everything pitching-wise has been going well. Rotation has been impressive, especially with guys like Nolan McLean and Clay Holmes specifically, we shouted out as guys giving you really nice starts, getting deep into games generally. Bullpen has been performing at a solid level over the past, 2 or 3 weeks. And I said last episode, as long as this offense is not performing across the board at their absolute bottom floor, then this team is going to be able to start winning some games. And what we saw this weekend was just more of the offense playing at their absolute bottom floor with the top 2 hitters on your team, both in terms of the lineup card and pay and statistical success over the course of their careers. Juan Soto and Bo Bichette did not have a single hit.
I just keep going back to the 1, 2, and 3 hitters all weekend, all 3 games for the New York Mets did not have a hit. And I just don't know how you win baseball games when that's the case. The Mets are, in fact, lucky that they won the game on Friday, knowing that their 1, 2, and 3 hitters didn't get a hit all weekend. I also don't know how you stand a chance when you have 3 different 3 hitters all weekend long. Brett Baty, MJ Melendez, and then yesterday, just the icing on the cake, the cherry on top of the sundae, is the Mets roll out a lineup that features Austin Slater as their 3 hitter against Eduardo Rodriguez. And I feel like I'm slandering Austin Slater, and I'm trying not to do that. Austin Slater, the idea of what Austin Slater brings to this team, somebody who in his career has been good against lefties, that is a valuable piece to have on your roster, right? Having a platoon that can crush left-handed pitching is not a bad thing. Inherently, it is not a bad thing to have on your team. But I'm sorry, Austin Slater should not be hitting third. Now, that is a byproduct of, I think, bad managerial process. I think that is a byproduct of the rest of the team not hitting at all. And so you just feel like you're throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. But I'm sorry, the Mets right now don't have 9 good hitters. They need to play who they think their best 9 are, and I just can't see a world where Andy Ibanez and Austin Slater are among that group. When you have Brett Baty who's sitting on the bench, MJ Melendez who are sitting on the bench, and yeah, it's not like those guys are tearing the cover off the ball themselves, but you believe in those guys a lot more than Slater and Ibanez, and I think this is getting too cute. I think this is getting too matchup happy for a team that shouldn't be playing matchups. They should just be playing the best 9 that they feel gives them a chance to win, and I don't think that yesterday was not the best 9 that they have.
I agree. I'm more for yesterday's lineup for the finale of the series. I'm more upset that Ibanez was in it at all. I understand Slater being in it because of the lefty matchup, I guess, whatever. But having him at third is the real problem to me. Is I just feel like you're not. He is a hitter that can perform well in the situation that you're putting him in, but at the top of the lineup there, I just don't understand how that is the plan. Vientos had been hitting the ball hard in the first game of the series. I don't know why you don't want to move him up. I don't know why Marcus Semien, who has seemed to kind of turn a bit of a corner, has been very inconsistent, but I would have rather have had him hitting third. I'm just going down the lineup right now. Carson Bench, I know I just said a few episodes ago that I don't want to push him into a situation where he's suddenly third in the lineup and in a more pressured position. But
if my options are Austin Slater third or Carson Bench third, I'll take Carson Bench third.
Exactly,
if those are the two choices you're presenting to me, I would much rather Bench. Yeah, I mean, it's just, and then you play Andy Ibanez and he makes 2 errors. And one of them directly comes back to basically cost the Mets the game because at 5-1, and with the way the Mets bats have been hitting, you don't stand a chance. And again, the analytical way to do this is the guys that you put at the top of the lineup are the guys that are going to get the most at bats over the course of a game, over the course of a season. You can't tell me that you run the calculations, that you run the math, that you do all this work, and you decide, you know what, the guy that we want to get the third most at bats for us is Austin Slater. You just can't come to that reasoning.
And not only that, but why is Andy Ibanez hitting sixth? That guy has a 0.87 average and a 202 OPS. How are you telling me that you want that guy getting more at bats than Carson Bench in this game? Carson Bench hit eighth.
He doesn't have a hit as a Met yet. His 0.87 average is when he was with the A's. So he doesn't have a hit as a Met yet. Yeah, so it's poor lineup construction. They didn't create many opportunities. They were 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position yesterday. I think it was 0 for 2 the day prior. They scored 5 runs in the 3 games. The top of the lineup didn't hit. I mean, we keep having the same conversation, and I think the place that I'm at right now with it is they have an off day today. They had a lengthy road trip that saw them go to Anaheim and win 2 of 3. We forgot about it for just a second because of how annoyed we were at the Arizona series. They went to Colorado and they won 2 of 3 there. And then they come here to finish up the road trip, and they don't stick the landing, right? They're not getting perfect 10s from the judge in the way that they stuck the landing. But now you travel back home and you have an off day. The updates that we got over the weekend, Jorge Polanco's not close. Luis Roberts not close. Francisco Lindor hasn't even had the MRI to clear him to start a potential ramp up to coming back to this team. So if he has the MRI this week and they give him the go-ahead, you're still probably looking at 2 to 3 weeks before Francisco Lindor is back. You're talking now about June for when the Mets are potentially going to get these guys back. If they run this offense out there the rest of this month, the season will be over. We will be doing podcasts talking about the Mets having the number 1 pick in the draft because of of how bad this season has gone. They're right now, they've got the number 1 odds in the lottery.
I mean, even before that, Chris, we're getting reports about the Cubs calling about Freddie Peralta. We're already in Mets might be sellers, and they should be. They're the worst team in baseball.
I say all that to say you've got to try something different. You cannot. It is the definition of insanity. If we get to Tuesday, if we get to tomorrow, if you're listening to this on Monday, and they open up a 3-game series with the Detroit Tigers, and it is the same roster, and while maybe it's not Slater and Ibanez in there, maybe Beatty and Melendez are back in there, if you run out this same group, because by the way, it didn't look good with those guys in there either. If you run out this same group, the message you are sending to Mets fans is that this is okay, that this is operating the way you want it to, and that just can't be the case. Now, AJ Ewing and Nick Morbido may not be ready. Okay, they may come up, and it may be more of the same, but at least you are showing that you are trying something. You are at least showing that this is completely unacceptable. It is unserious to run out Austin Slater and Andy Ibanez. That's the word I used over the weekend. It is unserious for a team with this payroll to have the lineup that they had out there yesterday, to have the performance that they've had over the last 3 days. And you may say I'm picking on them because they won the 2 series previously, but this has been a problem all season long. It's not like this just cropped up in this series and I'm being unfair. This has been their issue all year. And Nolan McLean pitched great on Friday. Clay Holmes pitched, I think, good on Saturday. It wasn't his best this year, but he was good enough to win the baseball game. And you're wasting those starts. You're
I just don't
wasting good pitching, and we're going to get to June. I see people on, oh, they're not going to make a move with Ewing or Morbido till June. They're going to let him get more time in Syracuse. Okay, then the season's going to be gone, and we can start talking about trade value for Freddie Peralta and Clay Holmes and Marcus Simeon and anybody else that may get called on. Luke Weaver, like that. That's going to be our conversation on this podcast if they continue to run this group out there.
I just don't know how you go up against two guys in Ryan Nelson and Merrill Kelly, and you put up 2 runs in 13 2/3 combined innings.
It's such a good point, right? Ryan Nelson this year's had an ERA north of 6. Merrill Kelly gave up 19 runs in the 3 starts previous to this one.
His ERA was north of 9.
Merrill Kelly's a good pitcher, but he's been struggling to start the year, and you made him look like, I'll use a Diamondbacks legend, you made him look like prime Randy Johnson. Like, the Mets make it so easy for everybody else. And it's just so hard for them. Like, the other thing, too, that I can't get out of my head is yesterday, in this entire series, the Diamondbacks call up their top prospect on Friday. He single-handedly wins them the game yesterday. He has 3 RBIs. He has the huge play on Mark Vientos. The day prior, even though he didn't get a hit, he made a ton of great plays in center that stopped the Mets from getting anything going. Like, you can call up a rookie. And now, I don't know if Ewing or Morbido are to the level of Ryan Waldschmidt. This was one of the top prospects in all of baseball and a top prospect in the Diamondback system. But that's a guy who was hitting 9th for them yesterday, who went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. So you can find a way to make an impact, even if you're hitting 9th. Yes. You can find a way to call up AJ Ewing, to call up Nick Morbido, and guess what? Play Mark Vientos every day at first. Play Brett Beatty at third every day. Play Brett Bobichette at short every day. Play Morbido. Play Ewing. Play Benj. Soto can DH. Hey, sorry, Francisco Alvarez, you're not going to play every day. Your bat's not good enough right now, so we're going to get you in there behind the plate. But if your defense starts to struggle, Luis Torrens is going in the game. Like, it is not the best 9 that the Mets can put out there right now. Is not the group that they have. It's just not.
Correct. And I genuinely do not know what Austin Slater and Andy Ibanez bring to this team that AJ Ewing, Nick Morbido, Ryan Clifford would not be bringing, because
and you bring in Ibanez, and then he makes 2 errors yesterday.
Exactly. Like, it's not like you're getting a defensive upgrade, and you know the bat's not there. Like, the bat is clearly not contributing anything to this team. It's not like he's hitting the ball hard. It's embarrassing at bats. So, and the other part about the Waldschmidt thing that you bring up is, like, he didn't even start in the first game that he played in his major league career. Like, the Diamondbacks bring him up. He doesn't even start. He comes into pinch hit and stays in the game. But, like, you can do that. You can soft launch a player's career and then let them slowly integrate into the lineup, start from the 9-hitter spot. Don't put any pressure on them offensively, but have them get your team a chance to win games, because the rest of the lineup just it's not hitting. And to run out Austin Slater, Andy Ibanez, and we didn't even mention him yet on this episode, but Vidal Brujan from, like, the Rockies finale, that's just it's deeply unserious.
Right. And I try to find a different way to say it, because it feels like I'm talking about the same thing every day. And I say this on the postcast that I do, that, like, it's actually a challenge for me to try to come up with a different way to present what has been the same theme all season long. But the Mets are just a bad offensive team. And we didn't even talk about Eduardo Rodriguez almost threw a complete game yesterday against them. He threw 100 pitches in 8 1/3. And if he didn't allow the 1-out hit, he was going to get a chance to complete that. He was given the chance until he let up his first base runner. And so it's just so, and there's just no urgency. Like, they went 22 consecutive batters from the 5th inning of Saturday until Soto drew the walk on Sunday without getting a base runner. They went 22 consecutive batters without getting a base runner. So the end of the game, where it's close, it's competitive, there's no urgency there on Saturday. And then to open up the game knowing that your offense has been a struggle the last 2 days, there's no urgency at the start of the game. And again, it all goes back to this is just the stat that just sticks out. You didn't get a hit from the 1, 2, or 3 hitters. Juan Soto's hitting 264. Bo Bichette's hitting 222. Like, I think Carlos Mendoza is crazy for batting Slater third. I think he's crazy for sitting Beatty and Melendez as much as he does in favor of platoon matchups. I think it's insanity that he does that. But his two best hitters, the best average is 264. The best qualified average on the team, so qualified number of at-bats, is Francisco Alvarez's 236. So, listen, Carlos Mendoza is not helping things here, but guys just gotta perform. Guys just gotta hit.
The other problem, you said urgency, and I think one thing I've noticed about watching the Mets, I'm taking two things that you said over the last few minutes. You said they're not showing enough urgency, and things look so hard for them, but it looks easy for other teams. And I think if you boil that down to like a specific microcosm, like a specific situation, every at bat is not urgent, but it's too pressing. Like everyone's trying too hard to do something. No one is taking their pitches. No one is taking walks. Like part of the reason that you're not getting base runners is because you're not waiting for a pitch that you know you can hit on one hand. And on the other hand, you're swinging at too many pitches outside of the strike zone, or swinging through pitches you can hit, or just not taking balls, like not taking your walks when you can. And Juan Soto's been able to do that kind of throughout the series. He had an intentional walk. He had a couple walks throughout the second and third games of the series. Bichette had a walk, but like the rest of the team needs to understand that when nothing is going right, there's no reason to try to force yourself to hit it to a double play, hit a ground ball, hit the worst pop-up you've ever seen in an important situation. Like,
Or
keep
if
the
you're
line
Austin
moving.
Slater, don't run out a ground ball. Just get tagged out.
Yeah.
Austin Slater had the two most important at-bats in the game on Sunday. He grounded into a double play and then hit a chopper that he didn't run out because he thought it went.
So that's part of the urgency thing, but it's also like they're not getting in enough situations where there are important at-bats, and that's why Austin Slater is coming up in these situations whenever on the off chance it does happen. And I will say, to, I guess, some of the Mets' credit, some of the luck that they had against Merrill Kelly with these smoked balls was unfortunate. And I think part of that's Walt Schmidt playing in the field. But like, I'm looking over here at the exit velocity on StatCast, and they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 balls hit over 100 miles an hour in the second game of the series, and one of them was a hit. Brett Beatty's double.
I hear you. I hear you. That feels a little unlucky that they hit the ball that hard. We're 40 games into the season. I can't be talking about the Mets having bad luck. Like you got to create your own luck.
I think
somehow.
in that situation specifically, yes. But
You gotta
over
create
the
your own
course
luck.
of the season, I'm not blaming all of the Mets' offensive issues on bad luck. I'm saying the second game of the series, sure. I don't think that an expected batting average of 265 to Arizona's 247, and you get 3 hits all game against Merrill Kelly, like that's a tough break. And we might be talking about a completely different tone in this episode if things went the right way, if
Of
a few
course.
balls landed where they didn't.
If they win the Merrill Kelly start, if they win the game yesterday against Eduardo Rodriguez and they win the series, we're not having this tone. But the reason we have this tone is because we've seen this before, and this is why they're even in this mess in the first place.
The other thing too is like I look at the performance in this second game with all these hard hit balls, and I just don't understand how you go from that like near win, like 2-1, very annoying. You lose to Merrill Kelly, whatever, and you go, we're going to send out the same punt lineup for the game 3 of the series, which we now need to win even more after losing game 2. And we're going to put out Austin Slater and Andy Ibanez again, like we did in Colorado, because that worked out so well when we did that after winning the first 2 games. I just like that. That does not compute to my brain. I know I'm not a major league decision maker, but like I just don't understand how you go from like the first game you win. The second game you're making good swings. The at-bats might not necessarily be competitive. The results might not necessarily be there. But then the third game you're going, okay, it's like you said at the end of the Rocky series. It's like they have a 10-game lead in the NL East, and they're like,
Oh,
we can trot out whatever lineup we want right now.
It is so laissez-faire. It is so just laid back, kick our feet up like we're on the beach sometimes, and it is infuriating. Now, but I'll tell you why, Jack. I will tell you exactly why they ran the lineup that they ran out there on Sunday. Because Eduardo Rodriguez was a lefty, and they don't want Brett Baty and MJ Melendez to face lefties. And you know what? This also bothers me. Because he played Carson Benz yesterday. So we couldn't do this against Jose Quintana in the Rocky series, but against Eduardo Rodriguez, who's actually the Diamondbacks' best pitcher and who's actually been pitching good this season, this is the time that we put the lefties in the lineup. It's so... Now, credit where credit is due, Benj has been swinging the bat better, and he deserved to be in the lineup, but I don't know what is the difference between when they played Jose Quintana 3 days ago and yesterday against Eduardo Rodriguez. It's just, again... It's just so laid back. It's just so, okay, we'll play Carson today. Brett Baty and MJ Melendez, though. No, I gotta get Austin Slater and Andy Ibanez in there. Andy Ibanez has been sitting too long. Got to get him in there. Got to get some ABs. And then he makes 2 errors, and you're like, okay, what's this dude on the roster for?
It literally feels like Carlos Mendoza is looking at the opposing pitcher, and he sees LHP, and he goes, oh, well, MJ Melendez and Brett Baty cannot be playing today.
He's sitting there going, oh, Austin Slater, Andy Ibanez, you're a Vidal Brujan.
It's like it's a joke mostly, but like after the last 2 series, with the finale being against a lefty, and you trot out essentially the same strategy, like it really feels like that's all you're boiling things down to is, I have to get this righty on lefty matchup come hell or high water. I don't care how poor my options are with Andy Ibanez and Austin Slater. I have to make sure they're getting these at-bats against the Diamondbacks' best pitcher this year in Eduardo Rodriguez. Doesn't matter that Brett Baty has been a little bit better or is just statistically has better numbers than both those guys. Doesn't matter that Andy Ibanez is maybe the worst fielder and hitter the Mets have. They have to get these at-bats because they're righties, and we're facing a lefty.
Also, you want to play Austin Slater because he's been good, and he did get 2 hits in the game on, Thursday against the Rockies with Quintana on the mound. Fine, you could play Austin Slater. I'm not necessarily I'm against playing Andy Ibanez. I just want to make that very clear. I'm against Andy Ibanez playing for the New York Mets.
Yes.
I'm not against Austin Slater. Again, the concept of a lefty quote-unquote masher is not a bad one. Like, on paper, it's a good idea. That does not equate to him needing to be the 3-hitter. Like, Mark Vientos should be the 3-hitter if that's the lineup you're going to roll out. And by the way, on Thursday against the Rockies, they had Slater hitting 4th, and they had Vientos hitting 3rd. So why the change? Because Slater had 2 hits in that game, and so you decided to make a change? Like, I'm sorry, you can't convince me that the Mets run the simulations, and the best chance they had to win yesterday was with Austin Slater hitting 3rd, and then the 2 most important at-bats come up in the game, and he doesn't produce in either one of them.
Right. It feels like bad process, and it's also combined with players playing to the absolute floor. It's just
bad process. It's bad results. It's just bad everything right now. And again, win 1 game, and it's a totally different narrative. Win 1 game over the weekend. Don't lose 2-1 to a guy who gave up 19 runs in his previous 3 games.
It's just baffling.
And again, the Mets don't make it easy on themselves.
But why? And I don't know that you have the answer to this. I don't know that any of us have the answer
Here we
to
are.
this.
We're into the therapy portion of the podcast.
Why is it that every time the Mets face a pitcher like Ryan Nelson, like Merrill Kelly, it's impossible for them?
Impossible.
It doesn't make any... Like, every other team, all 29 other teams in the league, including the Diamondbacks themselves in live batting practice, would be able to take these guys to town. And, like, the Mets are not doing anything. And it's a consistent theme across the season. Like, every time you look at the probable pitchers for an upcoming series, and we go, okay, they're facing Merrill Kelly and his 9+ ERA going into this game. Good opportunity to get right in this series. Look at the Dodgers. They have so many injuries to their pitching staff. Like, you don't feel good about Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and you don't feel good about Shohei Ohtani, but Justin Robleski, like, here's your chance to actually make things happen. And every single time this season, regardless if it's the Dodgers, if it's the Diamondbacks, if it's the Washington Nationals, they're not able to do anything against some of these horrible pitchers, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Jack Flaherty goes game 1 for the Tigers. He's given up 12 runs in his last 3 starts.
I'm
12 earned
predicting
runs, I should say.
I'm predicting seven innings of 1-run ball.
He has gone 6 innings once this season. So,
But this is what I'm saying. Like, the at-bats are not lengthy. Like, they're not driving other pitchers' pitch
and
counts
Juan
up.
Rodriguez threw 100 pitches and got 25
Exactly.
outs.
And I'm watching these Mets pitchers labor through innings because other teams are taking balls outside of the zone when they're
31
there,
pitch
or they're
inning against
fouling off
Clay Holmes
pitches.
on Saturday.
They're like, there's not. Why is it so hard for the Mets to be able to drive up opposing pitchers' pitch counts? But every opponent that they face is able to drive up the Mets starter pitch count.
Jack. The Mets face Framber Valdez in the second game of this series.
Is this his first game back from suspension?
He gave up 10 runs. 7 of them earned his last time out and got suspended because he threw at Trevor Story. He's going to go 8 scoreless against
no hitter.
No hitter incoming. I mean, that's how it feels.
But it's like it's every and this is another thing that's just like even bigger scale. Like, why is every player that the Mets end up paying top dollar, like they get to New York and it's like they ate I am bad now juice, like, or like they got the power sapped out of them by the Monstars. Like, why is Bo Bichette hitting 222 with a 559 OP? Like, this is the worst he's ever played in his career. Why does this keep happening to the Mets?
And it's not like it's not like if they signed Bichette and they kept the hitting staff from last year, you could be like, oh, these hitting coaches are just bad. It brought in a whole new operation.
Right.
Everything.
It baffles me. And like, I look back at some decisions and I understand why, to a certain extent, things have gotten to this point. Like, I don't think we appreciated at the time, as much as Pete Alonso had been declining, as much as Brandon Nimmo, the contract was an issue, as much as Jeff McNeil was not the player that he was when he won the batting title. I don't think we appreciated enough the fact that those guys were playing every day and they were not getting injured. And when you look at replacing 2 out of those 3 guys with Jorge Polanco and Luis Robert, who we have no idea when they're going to play another game, that's not great process by David Stearns. And I think that he bet too heavily on the ceilings and the health of a lot of these guys, and to a certain extent, their ability to play out of position. And a lot of that has bitten him in the butt. And now all of a sudden we're getting Andy Ibanez and Austin Slater in games.
I pulled it up again, and I think we did this in the last pod. I just pulled up AJ Ewing's prospect savant page. What are we doing?
I mean, that's another part of it too. Like, why is the replacement strategy these guys instead of the people you already have in the organization who are maybe going to give you a spark?
It's 42 at bats. It's 42 plate appearances. It's 37 at bats. He could come up here and he could just be overmatched. It's possible. But if you do that and it doesn't work, that at least shows me that you still care. Like, it just feels like David Stearns and Carlos Mendoza and everybody just feel like they have a world of time to figure this out. They feel like they just have all of the time to turn this around. And you know what? They're okay. Just, all right, we lost the series. Okay, we're back to 10 games below 500. It's okay. There's 120 games left to go. Like, there's no sense of urgency. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to say something that I don't know if anyone else has ever said. Maybe someone else has said. Them doing what they did 2 years ago when they were 11 games below 500 and they turned it around potentially is the worst thing that could have happened to this group.
You just spoke exactly what I was thinking in my mind.
Because now they're just going to always feel like there's time. They're always going to feel like, nope, we just got to let the plan play itself out. We just got to wait for these guys to get back. We got to just wait for Bo Bichette to turn the corner. We just got to keep running out Austin Slater and just try to make it work with this group. And it's like, no, like, that was the outlier. That was the statistical outlier. Doing what you did 2 years ago with the OMG Mets, going from 11 games below 500 to 2 wins away from the World Series, that's not the norm. And David Stearns should know that more than anybody else. And I just don't understand why you've got AJ Ewing hitting the cover off the ball. Okay, you want to give him, fine. You know what? You want to give AJ Ewing 150 plate appearances in Syracuse before you call him up. Nick Morbido's been there all season long, and he's also tearing the cover off the ball. So can we call him up? I figured it out while we were doing the pod. I'm going to get Christian Pache as the roster move, and that's my shakeup to the offense. That's what we're going to
Right.
get.
Something that's just a veteran that has not that won't provide the spark that you're actually looking for, but we'll satiate Mets fans in like a we're trying, we're doing
Well,
something.
well, no, it won't make any of us happy, but it'll be their way of saying, no, see, look, we're trying.
We're not satisfied with what's going on.
Right. We're also upset at what's going on.
To your point about the 2024 Mets, I was exactly going to say verbatim what you said. Like that was the worst possible outcome they could have had for this front office staff of Carlos Mendoza and David Stearns, because you see in the second game of the series when it's on Fox and Ken Rosenthal's talking about, oh, well, all they need to do is go 7-10 and they'll be 22-33 again, and they'll have the chance to make that miracle run again. It's like, are we forgetting that they forced themselves into such a hole that they had to be the best team in baseball for the rest of the season from mid-June to the end of the season, and then they also barely made the playoffs because they had to beat the Braves in a rescheduled doubleheader, and if they didn't win either of those games, the Diamondbacks were going to take their spot in the playoffs.
And by the way, that we got to the postseason and they ran out of gas because of how much effort it took to even be in that spot in the first place.
Yes.
And they lost the Dodgers series because they ran out of gas.
Right.
Sean Manaea didn't have it.
Luis
Who was
Severino.
their ace all season long. Luis Severino. They just ran out of gas. There was nothing left in the tank. So sure, is it possible? Yes, we've seen it. 2 years ago, we saw this team do it. So yes, it's possible that they come. This is actually a better situation. They're only 10 games below 500 right now. So yes, they can do it. But at what cost? At what cost when you give away the first 40 games of the season? And by the way, shout out to SNY Mets for tweeting this while we're on the air today. The Mets have a .287 on-base percentage through 40 games. That is the fourth lowest figure in franchise history. The three worst,
62.
68, they won 73 games. 67, they won 61 games. And 1963, where they won 51 games. That's the company that the 2026 $400 million New York Mets, that's the company they keep.
So that means really good news for 2027 if they're the 1968 Mets, because we're going to need a miracle again.
And I will not give up on a team on May 10th. Now May 11th. I won't do it. I won't. There is still 120 games to play, but you've got to, as an organization, as a team, you got to give us a sign that this is worth like staying in the weeds on. And we're going to, because we love doing this. Like, we love podcasting. We love talking about the Mets. And so we're going to be here regardless. But for the people who are just, casual listeners of the show, who are casual Mets fans who check in and out, I can understand you being like, this isn't worth 3 hours of my day. Like,
yeah.
You and I both have to block out our days around sitting down and watching the Mets to sometimes the ire of my wife, who looks at me and goes, this is what you're doing with your day? Like, 3 hours, we could be doing something. You're watching the Mets and they're not playing well. And she knows that. Like, yeah, there are going to be people who are going to be like, you know what, I'm done. It's summertime. The weather's getting nicer. I'm going to just go do stuff. And I
don't want to make this team hurt my mental health.
Right.
In the way that they do.
I'll just move on. So it is, I think, a responsibility of the organization. It's a responsibility of Steve Cohen and David Stearns to put out a product that at least shows that you're trying. And to me, Austin Slater and Andy Ibanez and Vidal Brujan is not trying. And you had a roster at the beginning of the year. You built up some good major league depth at Syracuse. You've now burned through that. It didn't work. Okay. You've got a choice. You either going to punt on this season, and you're never going to say that, but you're going to punt on this season by keep rolling out this group and just wait for those guys to get healthy, or you're going to get aggressive and you're going to call up prospects. And I don't have any reason to think this. One of those two guys is getting called up before tomorrow, if not both of them. Like, I just feel like we're going to get something today, because if we start the Tuesday series, if we start this 3-game series, this homestand where the Yankees are on the other side of it, I am guest appearing on the Yankees Believe show later on this week to talk about this team. I'm going to have to talk about this offense if they don't make a change. So I think they're going to do something. I think between it would be insanity. I might as well just turn around and bash my head against this wall back here than watch the Mets run this same offense out there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They have to do so. It feels like, to make a NFL analogy, it feels like when you're watching the team that just drafted the exciting young quarterback run out the same starter that's been terrible for the
We can't do
first
it.
5 weeks of the season. It's like, why do we have Jackson Dart on the roster if we're going to keep watching Russell Wilson throw picks on his moonball attempts against the Cowboys and lose a game that they're winning by 6 points in the last 5 minutes? Don't understand it. I'm waiting for a sign of life.
Jack is also a Giants fan, just so everybody understands. So that one also cuts a little deep for him as well. Oh yeah, I mean, you have to do something. And if I had to guess, I think it would be Morabito over Ewing, because Morabito's had 110 at bats at AAA compared to the 37 for Ewing. Ewing's been the more exciting player. I mean, the Statcast numbers are a lot better for Ewing than they are Morabito. Morabito's more of a patient guy. I said to you, I've been saving this. I've been waiting for the time to bring it out. I think today may be the day.
Okay.
Because you know where I'm going with this. Because I said this to you on my drive in. Like I was driving into work, and then I got to my office, and I was thinking about it the entire car ride. And I'm like, I got to fire this off to Jack. And I said something that I just thought of while driving in the car this morning. And I said, I know it's not apples to apples, but do you think Stearns & Co. thought of it like this? Ryan Clifford was their Pete Alonso replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Morabito was their McNeil replacement. And Ewing was their Nimmo replacement. Plus, he's got the speed of Luis Angel Acuna. Like, I presented it to you as, did the Mets feel like, I'm not going to pay Pete Alonso, I'm not going to keep Jeff McNeil, I'm not going to keep Brandon Nimmo, because I have guys that maybe it's not one-to-one and maybe it takes a little bit, but I have guys on the roster in the minor league system that match up that skill sets. I say all that to say, that's who Morabito's profile reminds me of. It reminds me of, he's not going to hit for a ton of power. He is going to get some hits. He's got a good feel for the strike zone. And I wonder if the Mets feel like that is the skill that they need more right now. Somebody that's going to come in and just kind of be a steady guy that's going to work the zone and work pitch counts. Now, if you want somebody that's more spark, more energy, I think you go A.J. Ewing. But if you want somebody who's had a little more seasoning in Syracuse and is just a good bat to put in the lineup, then I think you go Morabito. Now, I would just do both, but that's just me.
Well, when you look at a major league roster right now that has 3 guys that are giving you uncompetitive at-bats, I don't know why you don't say, actually, we can take 2 out of those 3 and not have them be on the roster anymore, and bring up 2 guys that have shown promise in the minor leagues and have them actually take those at-bats instead. But I think we'll get maybe Nick Morabito and Christian Pache, like you said.
Or we'll just get Christian Pache. Be like, here you go. The pitching matchups for this week against the Detroit Tigers. I mean, Mets should win 2 of these 3 games. I know I keep saying this, but the pitching matchups, like the pitching's been so good.
It's just they have to get hits against Jack Flaherty and Framber Valdez.
Freddie Peralta against Jack Flaherty in the opener. Christian Scott against Framber Valdez on Wednesday, and then in the
those are games they should be winning. Like those should be easy. Like check pitching matchup check. Like those should be wins.
And then in the finale of the series, it is Nolan McLean against Keider Montero. It's been good. It's been really good for them.
Nolan McLean is probably going to win NL Rookie of the Year. It's him and JJ Weatherholt.
They are 2-6, 2-7, 2-7 in McLean starts this year.
Welcome back, Jacob deGrom.
It's just so. Oh no, sorry, 2-6 because he's only started 8 games. 2-6 in McLean starts this year.
How many wins does he have credited to him?
I believe it is 1.
I believe it's 1 because I know they won this first game of this Diamondback series and he did not get the win.
It's the Giants game. He's 1-2 with a 2.78 ERA. It's just
welcome back, Jacob deGrom.
Oh gosh.
And I said this to you, Chris. Like it's a shame they took his bat away because we'd be seeing like the same kind of starts where it's like Jacob deGrom has the only RBI in a 1-0 Mets win, and it's like that's the only way he's dragging the team kicking and screaming across the finish line to get a win.
One win was the Giants game that he threw the 5 perfect. That's the start that he won.
Remember that Giants series, and we were like, "Oh, the Mets offense, it's here."
Funny enough, they won 4 in a row. They won the final 3 of that San Francisco series and then the first game of the Arizona series. So
right,
those were simpler times for the New York Mets. Yeah, What's the old political phrase? It's the economy, stupid. It's the offense, stupid. Like, just fix the offense, and most of the other issues for this Mets team, like Devin Williams is fine. Devin Williams is fine.
When he gets the chance to pitch.
Luke Weaver's been great. Huascar Brazaban, opener, my guy. Austin Warren's been good. I mean, David Peterson
4 out of
wasn't
your
bad
5
yesterday.
starters are good.
Well, who's the bad starter? David Peterson?
Yeah.
This opener thing's been working, though. He would have been out of the inning yesterday
No,
if
you're right.
Andy Ibanez didn't throw the ball away, because he got the next two guys out. That was to lead off the inning. So the inning's over if that play gets made. They don't score the other 3 runs, and it's just another 2-1 loss for the Mets instead of a 5-1 loss. They lose 2-1 2 straight days. It's that because
it's the offense,
right? Because they couldn't hit to save their life. Their first hit came in the 6th inning yesterday.
Yeah, I mean they had Merrill Kelly facing the minimum through 5, I think. Or no, that can't be right. It must have been the second game.
Eduardo Rodriguez had faced the minimum through the first 5 or 6 innings
because of the double play by
a double play that was not hit by Francisco Alvarez. Funny enough, usually it's Francisco Alvarez who hits those.
It's true. It was Austin Slater this time.
By the way, Francisco Alvarez did hit a double play ball. What was it, Friday night?
Yes,
but because Marcus Semien stole second base, it could not have been a double play. But number 11 was right there.
But it also ended up in an out at home instead of a out at first base.
I want to end on what you said to me about Francisco Alvarez, that he is a different kind of 3 true outcome guy. That he either flails at a pitch outside the zone to strike out, he either hits an absolute tank, or he grounds into a double play. That's it. It's the only 3 outcomes for Francisco Alvarez.
That's it.
So
don't even think about walks. Like, take that out of your mind.
If there's nobody on base, you're down to 2. It's either a strikeout or it's going to be a home run. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. If you're looking at the situation, if Alvarez comes up, don't even think about singles or doubles or, God forbid, a triple.
We laugh because it stops us from crying, because that's how it feels right now to watch the New York Mets. And I just keep going back to, if they just win one of the 2 games over the weekend, we don't feel this way. Like, win one game and it's a 6-3 road trip, and it feels so different.
But then it's also like, if they won the second game and they still tried out Austin Slater and Andy Ibanez, it's like we're doing the same. We're making the same mistakes that we made against Colorado.
If you win on Saturday, that is not a license to then just punt on Sunday. You should try to go.
And then you lose on Saturday and you still punt on Sunday. I don't know what we're doing.
That's I'll end on another Giants analogy. This is Joe Judge doing the QB sneak with Daniel Jones. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's going to do it for us here. Another edition of the Believe in Mets pod. I think I feel better. I don't know. At least we got to laugh a little bit. It's just watching this team. It can be so frustrating at times. I'm glad. I'm going to go for a walk today, I think, because the Mets don't play. I'll go to work. I'll do what I got to do. And then I'm just going to take a nice little stroll and just clear my mind.
Whistling like there's not a care in the world.
Not that my team has a 23.3% chance on Fangraphs to make the playoffs when they started the year with like an 85% chance. So, no. Please, if you are new here, rate, review, subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening to us. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, whatever podcast player you're listening to us on. Please rate, review, subscribe. And then do us a favor. Share an episode with a friend, whether it's this one, another one that we have done. Greatly helps us out, and that's what helps this show continue to grow. If you want to watch the video version of the podcast, you can do so over on our YouTube channel, Jack McKessy, McKessy. The March to 250. It marches on. You can be a part of it. You can help us out. Get to 250 subscribers on YouTube before the All-Star break. It's a series against the Tigers up next. The pitching matchups are in the Mets' favor, as they mostly are this season, but it's about the offense. So we will see if the Bats are able to figure it out against the Tigers. We'll talk to you guys next time. And as always, let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.